We are here today because of a promise that I and Senator Booker made to Judge Salas. In the days after she was targeted in a hateful attack, which took the life of her son Daniel, we promised that we would do all we could to protect judges like her from future attacks. And so for over 2 years, we have worked to pass legislation through Congress that protects federal judges and their families. Today, we're proud to say that we delivered on that promise and secured the passage of the Daniel Anderl Judicial Security and Privacy Act. Our journey began exactly 883 days ago on July 19th, 2020, when hate and violence found its way to the home of Judge Esther Salas and her husband, Mark Anderl. An aggrieved former litigant, using information found online, tracked Judge Salas down at her home. He walked up to her front door with a firearm and opened fire, injuring Mark and murdering their beloved son Daniel in cold blood. It is every parent's worst nightmare. It is a loss far beyond our capacity to put into words. But incredibly, against all odds, Judge Salas and her husband found purpose following the worst day of their life. In the midst of immeasurable pain, they resolved never to let another judge, another family like theirs, experience what they had gone through. Which is why Judge Salas and Mark met with their 3 federal representatives, Senator Booker, myself, and Congresswoman Sherrill, who could not be with us, but I want to say that she was an important part of our ability to succeed at this, working it in the House of Representatives, and I want to acknowledge that. They explained what they wanted to see done to honor Daniel and his life. They wanted this bill to become his legacy. And as a result of these conversations, we made a personal vow to them. We swore we would never stop until we passed a law that protected federal judges and their loved ones from future threats. And in that moment, the Daniel Anderl Judicial Security and Privacy Act was born. Over the past 2 years, we have worked with our colleagues, with other federal judges, civil liberties, and privacy experts to draft a bill that would protect judges from threats to their physical security, as well as to their privacy that could ultimately create a risk to their physical security. With bipartisan support, we included the bill in must-pass legislation. And finally, it has been sent on to the President's desk, where we expect him soon to sign it into law. As members of Congress, this is our fundamental responsibility, to keep our constituents safe. But no action we took to pass this bill can compare to the courage, the patience, and the commitment that Judge Salas and her husband have demonstrated. They're the real heroes of today. Judge Salas, who continued to manage an incredibly busy court docket, pounded the pavement in the House and the Senate to tell Daniel's story. She watched with steely resolve and incomparable strength as the bill faced procedural hurdles. And despite the obstacles, she and Mark did not let any lawmaker pass by them without asking them to support this bill to protect judges. Judge Salas and Mr. Anderl are the very definition in that respect of public servants, turning their pain into years-long effort to protect the federal judiciary and fortify our democracy. I cannot understate how brave their commitment to this bill has been. We cannot forget that Judge Salas was not just targeted for being a judge, she was targeted for being a woman on the bench, and specifically one of only 2 Latina judges on the District Court of New Jersey. Judge Salas and her family were victims of a horrific hate crime. Yet through her advocacy, she appealed to the broadest possible coalition to get this done. That is what our democracy is all about. And so to stand here, to be able to look at them in the eye and say that we got it done, we kept our promise, I'll tell you, in all my 30 years of Congress, there are few moments as profound as this. Make no mistake, today is a good day It is a day to celebrate the fact that thanks to this legislation, judges of all backgrounds will be able to administer equal justice under the law without fear of retaliation. Daniel's law will protect judges by prohibiting the selling, trading, transferring, or purchasing of judges' personally identifiable information online. We do this by allowing judges to request their information be taken down if it is publicly available. We increase their protection by authorizing the U.S. Marshals Service to hire additional analysts, security specialists, and other personnel to help prevent threats to federal judges. These are just some of the nitty-gritty details of the bill. But ask any judge, and they'll tell you why they're necessary. Threats to the judiciary have been on the rise in the last few years. Federal judges, dedicated public servants who are enshrined in Article 3 of the Constitution, have increasingly had to look over their shoulder, wondering if they can deliver judgments without fear. The ability for judges to be free to deliver life-changing judgments is a critical pillar of our democracy. It is absolutely necessary to maintain the rule of law. So yes, our bill, the Daniel Andrew Judicial Security and Privacy Act, is about protecting judges. It's about dedicating more resources and attention to their well-being. It's about making sure that public servants can do their jobs safely and securely on behalf of the communities they serve. But at its heart, this bill is a tribute to Daniel Andrew, to his parents, who have done the greatest service for their country out of a love for their son. Nothing, in my view, can be more important than that. So let me conclude by saying, as we celebrate that the democratic process has delivered justice after 2.5 years, as we celebrate the life of Daniel and the bill which bears his name, let us never falter in our effort to create a better country and better community. Let us never stop pushing and prodding until we reach days like today, when we can fulfill the promises we've made and ensure that no judge in America has to experience what Judge Salas and her husband Mark have gone through. I'm honored to have played a part in honoring their son's legacy. And with that, let me turn over the program to my colleague who was essential in helping us achieve this moment. He is a member of the Senate Judiciary Committee where this legislation had to go through, and at some times there was a lot of jaw-bonding to do with some of our colleagues to understand what this bill did and did not do, and we couldn't have achieved it without Senator Cory Booker.